January 24th, 2024 Goffstown Select Board meeting. If you could all please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we have the acceptance and corrections of the January 8th, 2024 public and non-public minutes.
I'll make a motion we accept the 1/8/24 public and non-public minutes with corrections if need be.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jim. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain? Okay. And for announcements this evening, we have for tomorrow, the New Hampshire presidential primaries will be held Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024 at Goffstown High School, 27 Wallace Road for residents in Ward 1, and at Bartlett Elementary School, 689 Mass Road for residents in Ward 5. The polls will be open between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. for the nomination of candidates. The Democratic sample ballot and Republican sample ballot are both available by clicking the Election Info button on the town website at www.goffstownnh.gov. Sample ballots are also posted at Town Hall. And another announcement, a reminder to residents interested in running to serve as an elected town or school district official. Candidacy filings open Wednesday, January 24th. Please note the town clerk's office will have delayed openings at 10 a.m. due to the late night duties required by the January 23rd New Hampshire presidential primary. Candidacy filings received at the town clerk's office during regular town hall business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., will be marked as of the date received. All candidacy filings delivered after regular business hours electronically, by mail or courier or Dropbox, will be receipt dated as of the next regular business day when physically received by the town clerk's office. Candidacy filings on the last day, Friday, February 2nd, 2024, must appear in person per RSA 669:13. The town clerk's office will remain open from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. only on the last filing day to accept declarations of candidacy forms. And at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for public comment not pertaining to the public hearing?
Can you clarify that?
Sure, just for the public hearing, we'll have open time then for you to speak, but if you have anything else outside of the public hearing.
And the hearing is when you go over each of the articles, or?
Yes, at 6:15.
Well, just to be clear, you have a public hearing on the petition article on the 2.5% tax cap. The board is discussing and doing their final votes on your warrant, but you normally would not necessarily take public comment on each individual
Oh,
warrant.
I'm sorry, is that what you meant, just the tax cap warrant article?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Any public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment at this time. And Derek, would you like to start on the town administrator's
Are you
report,
going to go over
please?
this stuff? No?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that one. Do I have that?
She made the announcement. That one is listed on the website.
Okay.
Oh, do you want me to read them?
No, I just wanted.
No, I missed it. I think it was stuck together. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Derek.
For the town administrator's report, we're on page 11. You have your consent agenda. You have employee status reports. You have a police officer retirement, a police officer new hire. You have a part-time firefighter 1 EMT resignation. You have a per diem EMT new hire. You have rights to inter on West Lawn Cemetery, section 1991, lot 36. You have a proclamation for an Eagle Scout Award that needs the entire signature of the board. And you have the 2024 MS-DTB, which is the default budget form for DRA, which needs a signature of the board tonight.
Motion to approve the consensus agenda as presented this evening.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Peter. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain? Okay.
At your next page, you have your assessor's recommendations. You have a blind exemption application with approval recommended for map 9, lot 58-19. You have solar exemption applications. These are all approval recommended for map 30, lot 47, map 17, lot 27, map 16, lot 2, map 11, lot 18, map 8, lot 62-8, map 3, lot 37B-5-8, map 2, lot 56-8. You have a veterans tax credit and tax credit for service-connected total disability. This is approval recommended for map 1, lot 57-1, map 5, lot 60-9-A, map 6, lot 67-8, map 24, lot 53. You have a veterans tax credit, approval recommended on map 3, lot 59-15, map 5, lot 60-2B, map 5, lot 95-11, map 6, lot 17B-17, map 6, lot 22-59, map 6, lot 22-146, map 7, lot 111A-2-4, map 9, lot 4-38-2, map 17, lot 140, map 24, lot 15A-1, map 33, lot 24-1, and map 34, lot 54. And then you have all veterans tax credit approval recommended for map 3, lot 33C2-104, map 7, lot 35-3, and map 43, lot 3.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you happen to know, or is there a number that was credited total, like a total number? The total credit number, like the
That
That we
total?
do each year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can provide you, it's on the MS1 form.
Oh, that's okay.
If you give me a second, I can look it up for you, absolutely.
I'm just curious if it's, how much
It-
difference, how much it grows and goes, it doesn't grow, you know what I'm saying? If it goes back and forth.
Yes, yep, well, I can give it to you over time. You do have the warrant article, or the 2 warrant articles for the veterans tax credit and the all veterans tax credit, as well as the service-connected total disability, to increase those by 20%. And I think I had that number in that memo, so I'll just pull up the memo. on my
All right, thank
computer. Yep.
Derek, do you know when the elderly tax exemption will come up?
When it will come up, that was
Yeah, that
changed at town meeting last.
Is it annual now?
You don't have that annually for a change, because the assessor recommended an increase in the value, as well as an increase in the assets. So it would be in the same tax year as the valuation update.
Okay.
So that took effect last year. You'll start seeing any new applications that somebody that may have not qualified in the past may come in. So you'll see those in your weekly packets.
Make a motion to approve the assessor's recommendation as presented.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Jim. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain? Motion passes.
And the last item is item number 13, which is your warrant. I figured you might want to take that up after the public hearing.
Sure, we could do that. We'll wait on that. We'll move on to the select board discussion.
You have at page
You have
21,
page-
you have your action matrix.
Okay, on our action matrix, the police station, be reviewing that later this evening. The Village Pedestrian Bridge, next meeting is on March 4th. The CDFA, Community Center Investment Program grant.
We haven't received notice on that, but I will reach out before your next meeting to see where they are in the review process.
Okay, thank you. And any updates on any of the vehicles out of service? I don't see Chief or
I did not
Adam
hear
here.
from the chief or Adam today.
Okay. And we have already designated where everyone's going tomorrow for the election,
Yes.
right? Okay. And do we need to do any, like, coverage movement for anyone? Like for one of us from the high school to go over to Bartlett and vice versa?
I think as
for
long as you're
breaks?
communicating with each other that somebody's gonna be moving over,
Okay.
then the best thing would be to not leave just one select board member completely
Okay.
alone.
And did Kathy give a time that she'd like us there?
Normally you're there
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, because you've got to open up the,
Just making sure we don't
yeah,
have to
she
be there
didn't
earlier.
say anything different.
Let me just back up and correct myself on that. We were asked to be there probably 15 minutes early because of the new standard with the outside, the people
Yep,
are gonna be outside, so we need to set that up tomorrow morning, so I don't know how it is at the high school, but we need to be at Bartlett like 15, 20 minutes early so that we can get that all set up for people.
Earlier than 6? Earlier than 6?
Yeah,
So 5:45?
yeah.
Why do we have to be there that early? Because that's still, it's over an hour before. I don't care, I mean,
Yeah,
I just,
Karen wants to just make sure
Okay.
everything is set up outside. We have some things that we have to finish setting up inside, Peter. And
I was also told that just now, when I came in, that the high school was extremely warm today and to wear a polo shirt or something very comfortable because it was very hot in there. So, as usual, normally we get kind of dressed up a little bit with a coat and stuff, but she's saying don't do it because it's way too hot. So,
Okay.
just to let you guys know,
Oh, darn it.
oh darn it, yeah.
so I do have an answer on your question on the veterans credits. This was a memo to the board back in December from the assessor recommending the 20% increase. Let's see. So on the 2023 MS1, the total tax credits were $445,000. If you had no new credits, no change in the number, that 20% increase would increase to $534,000.
That's with the passage of the new one.
Yes, those were the two articles that you had included, yes.
Okay.
So it's $500,000 veteran tax credits, it's pretty much. Yep.
Yep.
There's still a few minutes until the public hearing, the scheduled time, but I'm going to go ahead and read out all of the information that we have for the public hearing. Derek, is the timer ready to go?
Yes, it is,
Okay,
whenever
great.
you're ready. Yep.
So pursuant to RSA 35:5-C, the Goffstown Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, January 22nd, 2024, at 6:15 p.m. at Goffstown Town Hall, 16 Main Street, Goffstown, New Hampshire, to receive public input on a citizen petition warrant article to adopt and implement a local tax cap. The petition article states, "Shall we adopt the provision of RSA 32:5-B and implement a tax cap whereby the governing body or budget committee shall not submit a recommended budget that increases the amount to be raised by local taxes based on the prior fiscal year's actual amount of local taxes raised by more than 2.5%. 3/5 majority vote required." Some background on this petition warrant article. On January 12th, the supervisors of the checklist certified 44 registered voters who signed the petition in accordance with NHRSA 39:3. And just some notes and general information. The tax cap is calculated on the amount local taxes raised for the prior fiscal year, adjusted to include add-back in any fund balance used at tax rate setting per RSA 32:5-B I-A. The Budget Committee recommended a 2024 operating budget and warrant articles with an estimated amount of taxes to be raised totaling $18,709,355. To achieve an estimated amount of taxes to be raised with only a 2.5% increase, the Budget Committee would need to have reduced their recommended budget by $681,236. And just some notes for public comment this evening when we open up the public hearing. Any speaker, please state your name and your address, and note that there's a 3-minute time limit for which we've put up a timer just to make that easy for everyone to see. And right on time, we'll go ahead and open up this public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak?
I will with your permission.
Great. Good evening.
Good evening. Henry Geisen III, 20A Amoskeag Drive, Goffstown. I want to speak in favor of this article. So a restriction on spending by 2.5% per year or tax cap There's a few points that I want to make on it. One of them is the metric used to determine this was the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, 2.5%. Inflation has risen 3 to 7%, but wages have not, so the taxpayer is having to do more with less. And that's effectively what we're asking the bodies here in the town to do, is do a little bit more with less. Now, in real dollars, what this means is the town budget is just under $30 million. This allows for an increase of over $500,000, over $500,000 per year before you have to bring anything forward to the taxpayers. The school budget is over $55 million, and that allows for more than a $1 million a year increase before you have to bring anything before the taxpayers. This allows us to meet all of our collective bargaining agreements and existing bonds, etc. Before any spending increases come before the taxpayer. They're just asking that you do a little bit more diligence in trying to see where we can get that money without taking it off of the backs of the taxpayers. This isn't a punishment to this or any body of government. Some people have framed it that way in discussions about it in the public. This is just a way to put the taxpayers back in control or back in the conversation about how our tax dollars are used. New warrants for projects can still be proposed separately. This isn't a stop to us growing or maintaining the town. This is just saying before you increase the budget, you know, this year it was another, I think it was $1.75 per 100,000, or I mean per thousand on property tax. That's a dramatic increase based on the newly assessed property value of your property. There have been a lot of complaints about tax increases in this town. It's been no secret. Many of you probably heard me tell the Budget Committee last time they had an open conversation that I thought that they needed to do better. Right now, our tax rate in Goffstown is 26.31 per thousand. We are $6 away from making the top 5 tax towns in the state of New Hampshire, and we are less than $15 above the state average for property tax. I want Goffstown to achieve greatness and to win in everything, but I don't think that we want to be in the race for the highest tax town in the state of New Hampshire. And that's what we're trying to push for, is to have a little bit more discretion when these budgets are coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak at the public hearing?
Hi,
Hello.
Mary Fife Jenkins, 245 Wallace Road in Goffstown. I think that the tax burden, generally speaking, is a legitimate concern for taxpayers, but I don't think this is the right mechanism for addressing it. I think it would be best for citizens to advocate at the state level around taxation issues that suppress towns' access to funding resources and to address laws that promote tax exemptions and benefits for the very wealthy and to the detriment of the rest of us. I think it's largely a state issue. My concerns specifically about the tax cap proposal are several. First, it could bind the town and the school board to a particular level of funding in years when perhaps a more fiscally constrained approach is possible. It can be very costly in the long haul to execute programs of maintenance for systems, equipment, and facilities if we make short-term restrictions and are unable to take advantage of good approaches to addressing larger expenses in the short term. It can also potentially harm the municipal bond rating. And I think it hamstrings elected officials and town officials from addressing priorities for the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
Peter Grigorakakis, 112 Gorham Pond Road. I am here to speak against a tax cap for Goffstown, specifically based off of the type of township we have, okay? We are an SB2 town. There is only one other town in all of New Hampshire that has a tax cap as well, and they're already encountering issues, that's Litchfield. With having a tax cap, I'm hoping that we're able to seek legal counsel on what effect this could have on our town as well, considering that our voters already decide our budgets each and every year, right? Each and every year, the voters get together through town meeting, through deliberative, and at voting to decide whether or not they approve a budget. And if they do not approve that budget, we already have a measure to deny that budget through default. So I don't think that is something as a tool, although I totally understand 44 people getting knocks on their door and wanting to sign that I don't want, my taxes to be raised more than 2.5% a year. I would love that too. I just don't think it's the appropriate tool for a town like Goffstown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
Good evening. Sean Santino, 96 Patty Hill Road.
Could you spell your last name, please?
Santino. And I would like to take a couple of minutes to speak in opposition to the tax cut, to the tax cap. I feel that this is a short-sighted plan that looks in the immediacy and does not look in the long term of where this town has to go and how we are going to get there. I understand the tax burden. Have been here for 2 years and moved from a state where we had income tax and much more accessible property taxes than what we do have here in Goffstown. But when we look at the overall ability of the town to be able to manage and run what we need to do to sustain daily life, we need to not be hamstringed by what it is that we're looking at from an arbitrary 2.5% tax cap number that they have set. As Peter mentioned, the town votes on that budget, so we look at it from a town perspective, and the citizens are the ones who vote to approve that, or would default back to that default budget that we would already have in place there. So the town citizens are the ones who are approving these budgets year in, year out. It's not you guys. You put your warrant articles together and send those forward, and we as the citizens decide what works for us and what does not work for us. So I think that the tax cap is something in the immediacy that could see short-term gains for people, but we are going to harm ourselves in the long run if we look at this. I feel that it is also a state issue where state funding has become an opportunity, and having seen the petition, I know that there are several of our state representatives who continue to propose bills and pass bills and vote for bills that would increase the liability of our citizens to have to pay more taxes to fund our schools, fund our educational system. And I think that it goes back to making sure that we are holding those that we elect at a state level accountable for what they're putting back onto the citizens of Goffstown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Derek, as we jump into the discussion, would you mind going through the DRA breakdown we have for the different municipal, county, local, and state educational tax numbers that we have for 2023?
Yes, so in your packet on page 5, are you asking for the tax rate or the tax effort?
The effort, please.
Okay, so this is from the 2023 tax rate breakdown, which is available on the town website under the tax collectors page. This gets done in the fall, so from 2023, the town collected $17,588,409 for a tax rate of $6.50. County portion was $2,390,086 for a tax rate of 88 cents per thousand. Local education was $27,520,664 for a tax rate of $10.17, and the state education was $3,309,986 $394,811 with a tax rate of $1.31, and the total tax rate for 2023 was $18.86.
Thank you. And then just to confirm, the municipal $17,588,409 for 2023, and the current proposed from the Budget Committee that's moving on to deliberative session is
That is on page 4 of your packet. They had proposed an operating budget and recommended warrant articles because the way the tax cap is written is that it is what is on the budget form from the Budget Committee that goes to the voters. They have a total of $18,709,355. So again, that is the operating budget minus revenues plus the warrant articles that the Budget Committee recommended.
Thank you. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
About anything?
About it, yeah.
Do we have any, pique my interest, do we have any information about whether historically a tax cap affects bond rating?
I don't have the answer to that. I would have to reach out to other municipal managers to see if they've, but I don't know the answer to that.
Any other questions?
And I will say that we don't typically do our own bond rating because we go through the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank, whereas some of the larger communities actually do their own bond rating and they go out themselves to get bonds. We typically have gone through the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank.
I didn't think anything about that till you mentioned it. Okay.
Question. So I heard that Litchfield's the only other state, only other town in the state with a tax cap? Is that what I heard?
SB2.
SB2 town.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, we were, there's no database anywhere, and right now, the Department of Revenue Administration
Yep.
is reviewing 210 or however many towns, and they're reviewing all their warrants right now, and their warrant article language and their budget, so we did make a request if they had, a list of who does, but we didn't get an answer back as soon as, we're hoping to have that by the deliberative session.
I'm just curious, you said Litchfield was having problems. I'm wondering what kind of problems they were seeing, what they were faced with.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the recommendations for the budgets and warrant articles.
How do you want to handle this?
We'll just go through them one by one.
Do you want a recommendation on each one?
Yes.
So if I was to say, I'd recommend the select board approve Article 12 with the house.
Yes.
That's how you want to do it?
Yep. So motion to approve, do we have a second?
Yes.
Or recommend, sorry,
Yep.
motion to recommend. By Peter, seconded by Mark. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain? I'll just go down the line.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve Article 13. Do we want to state what the article is? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, so I can go through them quick. So Article
Okay.
13 is so Article 12 was the operating budget put forward by the Budget Committee.
Right.
Article 13 is the appropriation from the EMS Special Revenue Fund. This appropriation offsets the cost of ambulance service for the town. If this article were not to pass, then ambulance service would be funded through collection of property taxes.
Motion to recommend Article 13.
Second.
Motion by Collis, seconded by Pete. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 14 is the collective bargaining agreement between the town and the Teamsters at Public Works. This is a 2-year agreement. The estimated increase in 2024 is $151,752, and 2025, the estimated increase is $177,829. And just a reminder that this represents 24 full-time positions at DPW, laborers, truck drivers, mechanics, solid waste, heavy equipment operators.
Motion to recommend the Teamsters to CBA.
Second.
Motion by Collis, seconded by Mark. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 15 is the CBA between the Select Board and the patrol officers at Goffstown Police Department. This is a 3-year tentative agreement. So in 2024, the estimated increase is $96,059. In 2025, the estimated increase is $132,441. And in 2026, the estimated increase is $128,105. Again, this is for 22 full-time sworn officers. I did fail to mention on Article 14, but all CBAs were unanimously recommended by the Budget Committee. So this one was also recommended unanimously by the Budget Committee.
Make a motion to recommend Article 16, which is the police, 15, which is the patrol officers CBA.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Mark. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 16 is the third CBA. This is between the Select Board and the Goffstown Police dispatchers and clerks. In 2024, the estimated increase is $46,454. In 2025, $72,270. And in 2026, $49,385. This is for 13 covered positions. And as the other CBAs, this was unanimously recommended by the Budget Committee.
Make a motion, we accept the ASME Police Dispatchers Clerks contract.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Peter. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 17 is the annual deposit into the Fire Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund in the amount of $250,000. Just a reminder, this year it is would be from new tax collection. You did not propose this to come from fund balance. This was recommended by the Budget Committee, 11-2 against and 0 abstaining.
Make a motion to accept the Fire Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Collis. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 18 is an article to establish a Goffstown Public Library Capital Reserve Fund for building projects and matching grant funds, and also to deposit $200,000 from new tax collection into this fund. Also, this would name the Select Board and the Library Board of Trustees as joint agents to expend from this fund. The Budget Committee recommended this by a vote of 8-4 with 1 abstention.
Motion to recommend approval.
Second.
Motion by Collis, seconded by Mark. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 19 is to raise and appropriate $340,000 for the purpose of funding engineering design for the replacement of the pool and bathhouse at Barnard Park. As this was explained during the public hearing for the budget, if this article were to pass, the town would come forward at a future town meeting to seek the actual construction. This is to do the actual design and all the bid specs to do it.
Make a motion to approve Article 19, Barnard Park Pool Engineering Design.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Jim. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 20 seeks to raise and appropriate $20,000 for the purpose of supporting Crispin's House Coalition of Youth. This was recommended by the Budget Committee 8-3 with 2 abstentions.
Recommend approval.
Second.
Motion by Collis, seconded by Mark. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 21 seeks to raise and appropriate $4,000 to support Goffstown Main Street program. This was recommended by the Budget Committee 11-1 with 1 abstaining.
Recommend approval of Article 21.
Second.
Motion by Jim, seconded by Peter. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 22 seeks to establish a revolving fund for the maintenance and replacement of the town's dispatch center, hardware and software related to first responder dispatches services, and maintenance and replacement of the first responder radio infrastructure. All revenue from dispatching services beginning January 1, this says 2023, it should be 2024, would go into this fund.
Motion to approve Article 22.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Peter. Any questions or
Just
comments?
curious, the budget committee didn't look at this?
So the Budget Committee is only allowed to make recommendation on appropriation articles.
Okay.
There's nothing in the statute allowing them to make
Gotcha.
anything else.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 23 is seeking to establish a revolving fund for the purpose of funding operations of emergency medical services. Again, this was presented to you back in December. We've had a special revenue fund since 2001, but DRA in 2017 began requiring us to appropriate from that fund as a separate warrant article every year, with the danger of, if that warrant article were to fail, we would have to collect taxes. This is a revolving fund where those ambulance fees would go into the fund, and we would actually, the select board would, and the town treasurer would have access to those to operate. So this is to establish that revolving fund, and then the next article is related to this as well, where we would actually, if that revolving fund is established, you would discontinue the special revenue fund and deposit everything into the revolving fund. So it's really changing the form of a special revenue fund to a revolving fund.
At the request of DRA.
No, it's not at the request of DRA. This was a recommendation that came from myself and Danielle. Because again, there's always that danger, if that special revenue fund appropriation article fails, then it actually goes back to taxes. We have to fund ambulance by taxes. All the revenue continues to go into the special revenue fund, but to actually fund it, you have to collect additional taxes. This would be, I think, the way that the old fund operated from 2001 to 2016, where it was money in, funded the operations and the replacement of the ambulance and all the supplies and everything.
Motion to approve Article 23.
Second? Okay, thanks. Motion by Mark, seconded by Peter. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
And again, Article 24 is, if the, is contingent upon passage of Article 23, all the funds would be transferred from the special revenue fund into the revolving fund.
Motion to approve Article 24.
Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jim. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 25 seeks to modify the existing cable access revolving fund that was established in 2013. At that time, the cable franchise, or GTV, basically what we call the GTV revolving fund, receives 40% of the franchise fee from Comcast. Because the cost has increased on equipment and everything related to cable access, myself and the finance director came to you in December and proposed an increase to the share, shifting it from the general fund over to the cable access revolving fund. At that time, Vice Chairman Georgianis had a question of if we could stagger it over a number of years. You can stagger it, but we can't actually do it in a warrant article. It would have to be multiple warrant articles. We can't do it like a CBA where you're saying next year we'll change it to this percentage and the year after we'll change it to another percentage. So again, right now the share is 40% goes to the cable access revolving fund, 60% goes to the general fund. We would ask, staff would recommend to reduce the share to the general fund from 60% down to 30% and shift that 30% over to cable access revolving fund.
Quick question. What's the difference in dollars?
Yes, I think what we're getting right now, we're getting about $80,000 every quarter, so that's about $320,000. So it's about anywhere between $90,000 to $100,000 that you'd be moving from the general fund. So 30% of that 300 is $90,000. That's what you're moving from the general fund. Instead, you'd be depositing it. So you're reducing the revenue in the general fund by $90,000 and increasing the revenue over the revolving fund by $90,000. When we developed the 2024 budget and presented it both to you and to the budget committee, we actually had zeroed out cable revenue. So this would be a slight increase. We'd see a slight increase to what was presented. But again, the 30% and 70% split is a recommendation from staff. You do have the ability to change that if you wanted to.
Okay, and then one more question, if you don't mind. Article 22, what was the dollar difference there going into the general fund?
In 2024, we have budgeted $164,000 into the general fund, but again, we did not budget those revenues when we came and I think the police chief had spoke to you in the early fall, and then we talked to this back in December, and the board seemed agreeable to it. We did not budget that as an offsetting revenue.
So we're decreasing what's going into the general fund by about 250,000.
If both, yes. If you were to move forward with both, yes. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, take a motion.
I'll move Article 25.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
Article 26, again, this was a recommendation from the assessor that was brought to you back in December. This is a 20% increase to both the optional veterans tax credit and the all veterans tax credit to increase it from its current tax credit of $500 per year to $600 per year. And this would take effect for the 2024 property tax year.
I'll move Article 27, increasing the service-connected total disability tax.
Second.
I'm sorry, 26.
Yeah, second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Collis. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
I think I'm going to abstain because I think I received one of those. I'm not sure I have to, but just to be safe.
I'm abstaining as well.
Yeah.
You're the man, you can abstain.
Article 27 is, again, this is to increase the service-connected total disability tax credit from $2,000 to $2,400 per year, again, to take effect in the 2024 property tax year.
I'll move Article 27.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Mark. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
And just to confirm, that one's unanimous? Okay, thank you. Article 28, this was a program recommended by the Economic Development Council. Again, this is the ability for the select board to grant tax exemptions for new construction on commercial and industrial use. This was built as you had discussed back in the December, where any new value from those new construction or rehabilitations would receive 50%, I guess a 50% exemption in year one, then 40%, 20%, 30, and 10% in the final year. We use the terms right out of the zoning ordinance for what commercial and industrial uses are, and we put in a special provision that no residential uses, including multifamily, as well as residential uses in mixed use would be eligible for that part of the exemption. This is a 5-year program, the way the law is written, so if it is still available to the town in 5 years, the town would have to re-adopt it.
I think I asked this last time, but to rebuild or modernize, is there any financial limit for them to qualify for the tax credit under this?
No, there is not. Again, there would be, similar to RSA 79E, we would have an application process as well as an application cost to offset the cost of the public hearing that's required. I think for 79E, we charge $150 to do all that. A small rehab, if it doesn't have enough value, it won't be worth the amount of work that somebody will have to do to actually come to the board and to ask for that.
Any other questions?
And this is, just to be clear, is just on the new part, not the old part. The old part stays the same.
Correct.
Just
It's for the
clarification.
increased amount of value due to that new construction.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll make the motion, we approve Article 28.
I'll second that.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Jim. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain?
And then Article 29, this is the petition warrant article, and I did send out an email to board members this afternoon. Originally, when we had received the petition, I had taken out the first paragraph, but after consulting with the attorney, as that was part of the petition that was submitted, that first paragraph really should be on the warrant. It could be amended at town meeting. The second paragraph is statutory language and is required by law. So that's what I would ask.
We'll make a motion not to recommend Article 29.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Collis. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstain? All right,
We done? We done?
we are. Derek, do you have anything else?
No, I do not have anything else.
At this time, we'll open it up for our final public comment of the evening. Is there anyone who wishes to speak at public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Take a motion to go into non-public?
Motion going to non-public under RSA 91-A:3, 2C, adversity affecting reputation.
Yep,
Yep.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Mark. Roll call vote?
yep.
Yep.
Yes.
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 Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the public portion of tonight's meeting, and we hope to see you all at the polls tomorrow. Have a good night.